looking to get this done before the big event coming up on July 4th.
What's happening on
Being
July
the
4th, Eric?
Semiquincentennial. I had to
What'd you
rehearse or
say? Say it
practice
again.
to say that.
Welcome to Real Siblings, It Ain't Easy, a real estate podcast with the goal to educate, inform, and save their listeners time as they navigate the market and properties in their neighborhoods. Get ready to join real-life siblings and professional real estate advisors, Donna Reed and Eric Seemann, as they discuss how it may be simple, but it ain't always easy.
On the fields of Northwest Ohio, to the desert sun and the coastal glow.
All right. Hi, everyone. Hello to you. We are really here. I'm Eric. She's Donna. We're the real siblings. We're real estate agents. We have been absent for months
Few months.
because we are not podcast dominators. We don't let's see what might be the right word in there, that we just don't
Real.
have enough time in our schedule to get things done as systematically as we'd like to. When we started this 4 years ago, we said we were going to come out on the 16th and the 28th, twice a month. We have failed that several times, but nothing like this past few months. And there's several reasons for that.
Pretty miserably the last few months.
So, because, and I don't want to use the T word here, but because we like to be honest and real about how we put these together and what we do, there has been some life stuff going on yet again. For me personally, back in October, my lovely wife was injured while we were out. That injury resulted in her not being able to drive. So from October until last week, she was not able to drive. During the course of that, we had to go through diagnosis, everything you would go through before she could get a surgical procedure for her third spinal fusion. And then the recovery time from there. So it is since October until June 15th or so before she was able to drive again on her own.
Wow.
We have mentioned in past episodes that means I have some distance with where my wife and I choose to live. We're out 45 minutes to get in, to start getting into stuff.
Into towns and places.
Then the appointment, then the return, and we always try to take advantage. It's like, well, we're out, so we need to get this taken care of. So we do those things. Took a long time. Took a lot of time. Got through, had gotten through the holidays pretty well, but when she geared up and was in that final push, the last time we were able to record, we were moving in towards surgery. And honestly, had not realized how much, I'll say more severe this one was. When you do a C7T1 fusion, you're taking your neck and tying it in to the top of your spine at your shoulders. And your body responds very differently than the other fusions that she's had, which have both been in the neck or in the lower back. It's different. It hits different. So that's part of what's affected my ability to be here, because the first week of June, as a for example, following Memorial Day, there were four work days left. We had 6 medical appointments in those 4 days to accomplish.
Wow.
So we'd leave the house and come back 7 hours later. Makes it difficult and challenging. So that's my side of the story.
And unlike you, I have 4 hospitals within a few miles, right? Not to mention urgent cares and stuff. So that piece of where we live is very different.
Our lifestyle and location has
a
a big impact. There's a reason that our son has talked several times going, you may need to start thinking about moving in closer to, and it's like, nope, not gonna happen.
Not just your son.
Not gonna happen.
Bunches of your family have said this to you.
Happen. Okay, so that's my news. Donna, what has been preventing you from getting to the microphone?
I always, as we always plan and then take a little break, I was thinking of, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. you know, uh, so on a personal level for me, I met someone and started dating in February. And I've dated on and off over 12 years, but more off than on. And I seem to have chosen people that lived really far away, so it wasn't really frequent. And I met someone that has gone to the same church as me for 26 years, and we had never met. And he's retired. So because he is retired, it makes me think more about retiring. Anyway, so
you can go running around.
So I can go running around. Exactly. So,
one of the things that this gentleman likes to do is travel.
He does. So we're going to talk a little bit about the year 2026, but my 50th high school reunion is this year. And he's going to go with me back to Ohio, which is ironic because I don't remember what we talked about with my car last year, but it's kind of the same route when I put the diesel fuel in my car and had the road trip from
diesel in Amarillo, Texas.
Yeah. And so I'm going to meet some of his family, a couple who live in Texas, and he's going to meet you and Ken. Don't know about Dan yet. So everybody says, well, good road trip together is going to teach you whether.
That's right. Whether you're really suited for each other. That's what Jeannie and I did when we went out and met everybody.
Yep.
All the way back in 2001. All right. So the last thing, and we're going to try to keep this as high level as possible. There was an event. You know that at the end of every single one of our episodes, if you've been a listener and if you've followed us, you connected with us, we want to make sure you can contact us. So we always put our contact information, our social media channels, and everything out there. Out of the blue, I get a text message that appears to be coming from California. And it was nobody that I knew, nobody that I registered. I have the ability, because of a system we have available to us as real estate agent called Forewarn. I checked the number. There was no historical information that number actually existed or was part of anybody. And the next thing you know is we had some social media challenges that have now gotten to the point that they involve, since it was an attack more on Donna than it was on me, but it impacted both of us.
Mm-hmm.
We've taken social media accounts down. We have gone silent partly for that reason, because at this point, Donna, it is county, correct? Sheriff.
I'm in the county, so I have filed with the sheriff and with the FBI, and it's excruciating. It's exhausting. It happens to people all over the world anymore. So one of the things that you and I just discussed, we marvel about the technology that allows us to do this, and simultaneously all the things that can get hacked or changed or whatever. And so that would be the not good part of the last few months. And it's ongoing. It's not over. Eric, I am blessed that I have friends that work, my friend that was with America's Most Wanted for 30 years, and somebody else who works in Washington, D.C. and cyber crimes, and a detective who's a client. So I've been lucky from that.
Yeah, the longer you live, the more surprising it is that the people that you know, that you don't think about.
Right.
That was not, those people were not top of mind when this started to happen to us.
Right.
It was somewhere down the line going,
oh yeah.
I could use some help here.
Right.
And your niece too, right?
Oh yeah. On Gil's side of the family, my niece, she has had some things happen in her world that has taught her how to use the dark web. She knows, the neighbor across the street that worked for the FBI. She's been a tremendous help to me, and enlisted some people that she knows, as have I. So there's more to do. It's ongoing. It doesn't make you wake up in a good mood. And then
all those things that are supposed to be social about social media, when it can be weaponized.
Correct. And then I got texts from Phoenix, phone numbers, involve my broker. Yeah, so there you go. So it's been a minute since we've been here.
All right. And if you're seeing on video, Donna's not in stars, but I'm in stars because in our coming back, looking to get this done before the big event coming up on July 4th.
What's happening on
Being
July
the
4th, Eric?
Semiquincentennial. I had to rehearse or practice to say that.
How did say it again?
Semiquincentennial.
Semiquincentennial?
Yes.
Holy moly.
It is also known as the sesquicentennial or quarter millennium.
Wow. That's a whole lot. That's a whole lot of big words.
I haven't heard any of those. The sesquicentennial. And of course, we both seasoned enough in age now that we remember the events and activities and things that went on here in the United States in 1976, the big bicentennial year.
Yeah.
Of course, neither one of us were around, and records and things like that were kept very differently. The United States, as we know it today, didn't exist at the time of the centennial.
Yeah.
Honestly, at that point, that was another one. When you look at the centennial of the United States, that was sometime shortly after the Civil War had ended. Reconstruction is going on. The country was struggling with those things. Flash forward 100 years from there, and what we look back on now, nostalgically, saying simpler times. Things were different. We were in a small town. We've mentioned that before, right? We have said
we have
a small town, right? But it just seemed like the spirit in the country was different. And we kind of tossed some ideas out on that as in prep conversation. Is it because it's only 250 years, so it doesn't feel like it's as big a deal?
That sounds funny to me, because a quarter of a century compared to a fifth of a century, it would seem like if you take 200 years, which was the song we sang it up with people, 200 years and just a baby.
And I was thinking about that. It's like 200 years and just a baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Growing like a weed.
Growing like a weed. And so now here we are at 250. And I got to just tell you, I'm barely I don't want to say I'm not unaware. I'm aware, but there's nothing happening in my world remotely like what it was when we were kids. And I look at your beard and I say that because you and I talked about how in our hometown there was a beard growing contest amongst the men.
Now the men grow beards every November for a no shave November in order to acknowledge men's health issues.
Yeah.
But back then, because everybody was clean shaven, beards were unusual. We weren't into the 1980s yet when the Ron Burgundy mustaches jumped into play. But it was the small town.
Yeah.
I remember the things, there were parades.
Mm-hmm.
I was 5th grade going into 6th grade. We planted a time capsule.
Oh, that's right. By the bell at the school?
Yeah, by the bell, which we've discussed in previous episodes. The school's not there anymore. The time capsule was dug up. The bell's been moved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeannie's coming home. So the dog's barking. So
I was like, I thought I heard the dogs. That's funny. And thinking about that again, what part of it is just small town versus the state of the country, the world, the possibilities? I mean, who knows what all the many reasons might be or might not be. But I can barely believe it's the end of June.
That's because you've been so Twitter pated. Let's just
that's it, right?
I'm going to throw it out there, and I think that was our mutual friend Andrew Pandolfi who sent me a text going, "Oh my gosh, she's so Twitter pated."
I don't know if I'm going to be able to let that man listen to this. Yeah, so just interesting. And for me, I mentioned, I graduated. It's funny to put it in perspective that I was graduating high school when you were going into 6th grade, right? Kid. And so I remember that year, it was a big deal. It was a big deal that my class ring had like a Spirit of 76 thing on it. And I felt lucky that my birthstone kind of matched our high school color because there was, we have several versions. We have the pearl and, they're
Right.
different. And I still have that ring and I'm going to wear it, take it when I go back, in August. But right now, that for me is way more focused than the national celebration. It's just interesting.
And like I said, I don't know if it's one thing. I think one of the things that, since we've mentioned social media on this, the single biggest connection that I continue to get is buy something. One of the advertisements that comes across Facebook or Instagram, buy the 250-year commemorative shirt. I'm connected on veterans organizations. So it's like veterans should wear the 250-year and it's a big deal that it's a veteran-owned business and that sort of thing. And again, when we were kind of talking about this, prepping for the huge celebration that's coming up, interested to know who is, who isn't. We talked about the fact that it was 76. It was the summer of 76. Vietnam War, a very, very, very unpopular war, had only ended in 75. That was the final fall of Hanoi and the evacuation. But we were able to turn from there and jump right into the bicentennial activities.
Good point. Yeah.
Because, and I don't know if part of that was some of that feeling because of the fact that this war that nobody had wanted from 1961 when we started sending troops and more troops and Kennedy's going to end the war and then LBJ's going to end the war. And then it finally took Richard Nixon to start pulling people out before it was a weird time. I joked about the fact that was an election year, a presidential election year. So we had a peanut farmer from Georgia running against a family of career politicians out of Michigan.
Yeah.
Gerald Ford. You mentioned Kent State hadn't been that far separated. And that was obviously much more aware.
Well, that was close at hand. But if I recall correctly, and this would be something when I get back home I can ask, Rod Opelt, I think, went to Kent State, had come home from college. And so, for the summer, whatever, but I think he was there as part of it, which made me connect or pay attention to it a little more than I might have otherwise, because I just feel like we were just wrapped up in our own lives. And to be honest, Eric, every day right now, we all, no matter what's happening in the rest of the world around us, and we know what's happening in the rest of the world around us, whether we believe everything we see or hear or not, we still have our local lives. You still have a wife to take to the hospital. You still have this to do. I still have that to do. I still need to sell a house. You still need to sell a house. I still have challenges with an adult child. You know what I mean? And so sometimes you can live in a bigger place and feel more isolated. Does that make sense as compared to that little town?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. We all had bikes at that point.
That's true.
Think of the people at that point. You had Carl Rogers, Don Held,
Inky,
Harold Knipp. They'd get on their bikes. They'd be riding around the blocks during that summer. They had flags on their bike because we had to put the warning flags up on our bike at that point. And the flags became American flags and colors and drapes. And it was a big deal at that point. We had Little House on the Prairie was on.
That's true.
And so what did all the ladies in town do?
We made clothes and dress like that.
To put on your little bonnets, and you made the costumes and the outfits and the parade and wagons and all of those things. Last year we had gotten together. We went back for last year, third annual of the Lindsey Homecoming and Sunflower.
Yep. Fourth one's coming up soon.
And fourth one is coming up. And that kind of returns you to the feel. But even that, while we were there, food trucks were not a thing.
Right.
Like they are now.
That's true. The Lions Club or somebody like that.
You had the Lions and you had the volunteer fire department. We were doing fried
Fish,
chicken. You were
fish or
doing Ruth's
ribs or
Poultry. Yeah, I mean, it just we've mentioned in the past about our nostalgic, idyllic upbringing.
Mhm.
It feels like as we approach this July 4th coming up, sesquicentennial, that it's not it's underwhelming. Even the city of San Antonio, they're probably going to have more fireworks, but it's still going to be the exact same place that the fireworks are done every year. It's not like they picked a bigger location, they went to a different location.
Yeah.
They're not bringing in bands that you might think with a big celebration or something like that. It's going to be some of the
Mhm.
local.
Yeah.
It just I don't know the overall feeling, and I have spent a lot of time, and even as we talk about this, I continue to run it through my head. It's like, why does it feel so different? Is some of it even related to our age?
Yeah. Maybe.
We're both more jaded. I am very, very, very cynical related to all things Washington, D.C. Don't pick a party. It's just like
Yeah.
everybody who goes to D.C. becomes part of the system and becomes another part of the problem, not part of the solution, no matter what their best intentions were. I teach this. This is one of those things that, yes, when I teach, and I teach pre-licensing, because I'm in San Antonio, because the Alamo is such a big deal, it is always easy to use the Colonel Travis took his sword out, drew the line in the sand. There's a line in the sand. They used it during Desert Storm, Desert Shield. We're putting a line in the sand. Don't try to cross this. Davy Crockett, famous frontiersman, famous for dying at the Alamo. What many people forget is that he was elected and was in Washington, D.C.
Huh.
He was an elected official in Washington, D.C., and he became one of the original political dissidents. Because what did he tell Congress at the end? It's like, y'all can go to hell. I'll go to Texas. Because at that point, Texas was its own country. And he was already unhappy enough, and this was prior to 1836, that he left the
Yeah.
United States. We weren't even 100 years old at that point, and he could already see the way things were going. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I told you I want to talk more
I know
cheerily.
we need to talk more upbeat. Talk about up with people again. It's okay. I know you always like talking.
They're in Ireland this weekend. The reunion is coming up.
In Ireland?
Actually it's next month. Yeah, the reunion's in Ireland next month.
How many?
I don't know. I think there's
Is that your cast 76 that's getting together?
It's everybody, the 5
It's
years and
just
10 years,
everybody
whatever,
that, and they
but
picked
there's
Ireland
not many
this
from
year.
my cast going. We've got people who have already been, or people helping support kids, adult kids and things like that. So, but what I do have to say that in the midst of rising prices, of gasoline prices, of airlines, of delays and all that, my circle of friends is still going all over the world. And I'm seeing their photos from Machu Picchu. And right now somebody just came back from Morocco and said it
Our
was the best
neighbors
trip
were just
ever.
down in Peru again.
Yeah. Who was?
Our neighbors, our
Yeah.
immediate neighbors, with my little neighbors next door, my
Yeah.
9-year-old, now 10-year-old, and 5-year-old.
So people are still traveling the world and still enjoying it. And that's who the 18-year-old girl is that's inside me, right? The body might not be that age, but somewhere in here is that kid. And I think we have to celebrate those things. We have to celebrate those relationships that we still have globally. The fact that you connect to other Santa Clauses, the fact that you stay in touch with Michigan State, the fact that, there are some wonderful things about life and technology right now that didn't exist 50 years ago. The fact that I reconnected with my pen pal from India 50 years after we started writing
Right.
is the result of social media.
Is the
right?
result of social media. So it is not all bad.
No,
Not
no.
trying to say that it is, but it
Yeah.
definitely is different.
Yeah. Eric, how does
We wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for social
that's
media.
true. That's true. And it has allowed you and I to stay in
The
touch.
world of podcasting goes
Mhm.
back to when Apple created the iPod before we had iPhones, because you had this little device that put Sony out of business for their Walkmans.
Interesting.
The
Yeah.
progression of technology, right? Walkmans
Yeah.
to okay, so and you mentioned earlier, you just said you were 18, and that hard to believe that I was in elementary school at that point. Let me put another one in your head. Guess who was born in 1976?
Jeremy?
Rich, and Jeremy was
Rich.
born in 77.
77.
So
Rich is
that's why when Rich, years ago, when Jeannie and I first got together, he's like, so my stepdad's only 11 years older than me.
wow.
Right? And so you put that in perspective, it's like 11, I wouldn't even have been in the world reality, even if Jeannie and I were in the same place.
Yeah.
There was so much difference in just a few years in age that we never would have been together.
That's right. That's right. I was like, oh my God.
So Rich is a bicentennial baby. There's a couple of others that I've talked to and done stuff recently, but you just mentioned the whole Santa Claus thing. And honestly, I'm planning Christmas in July on the 25th. That's a bigger deal to me.
Unrelated, but because of Santa Claus, I'm going to tell you, there is a magician online. If you've listened to us through the years, you know our grandfather was a magician. He does pranks. His name is Justin Willman, and there's an episode that's got Santa Clauses in it.
Oh, I got to see that one. I haven't seen Justin do that one yet. Justin's amazing. He is phenomenal from
yeah. So anyway,
magician. So welcome back, sis. We got to get ourselves out of the
we can't do this funk and get it done. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
get back onto it.
Okay,
because we still got to shoot for November and NAPOD Pomo.
What? November and what?
That's the NAPOD, National Podcast Post Month.
Oh my!
NAPOD Pomo. That's where we.
That's where you're supposed to do one a day
every single day.
Lordy, Eric. Okay.
So, because I listen and do a lot more from the podcasting standpoint, I have to shout out to Dave Campbell from the How to Podcast series. Friend, we've reached out, we've connected numerous times on different things. He is doing 365 episodes, one episode for every single day of the year this year. And he is so systematic, and he's recording now for stuff that'll be out in September.
Wow.
That's how far he is. I will say he's a bit of I thought the word today might be a podcast savant, because it's not just that podcast. He has 7 other active ones and 2 more that he has done. So he's done 9 with 7 active thousands. Wow. Here we are. This is going to be, when I post this is going to be episode 83. And perspective, just because the fact that we're back, we're doing this, we are part of the top 5% of podcasts globally. Because if you get over 10 episodes, you're already in the top 50%. You get over 50 episodes, and incrementally you go up, just like everything else. But between all platforms, all the podcast, all the hosting, YouTube, the 2 different ways we do YouTube, we should cross over 10,000 listens before the end of this year.
Wow.
For 2 people who started this 4 years ago in June of 2022 was our first post.
Wow.
I'll take it.
Life was already different. All right. So I don't have anything here to wrap us up. Why don't you go ahead? You started this. We did it a little random.
All right. I started this. We'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
Happy 250 years to the United States. We know we have people listening around the world because we know we've charted over in China, and there's more of that to come. Thank you for taking the time to listen. We truly appreciate it. Thanks for listening after our extended break. I'm Eric. She's Donna. We're the real siblings. We are both real estate professionals with Keller Williams. I'm with Keller Williams Heritage in San Antonio. She's with Keller Williams Southern Arizona in Tucson, Arizona. We would be happy to assist you in our local markets. And if you need a referral or information for an agent somewhere around the United States or around the globe, we can help with that too. Reach out through our numbers that are always listed at the bottom of the page. Be legit. And remember, maybe simple, ain't always easy. I'm Eric.
And I'm Donna.
And we are real siblings.
All right, now we're going to see if I know how to stop this, Eric. All right.
It's been so long.
You bring down home care to your big city keys, to Midwest hearts in the Southwest scene. We treat every house like it's our own hometown dream.
Hi, I'm Annabelle, and I want to thank you for investing your valuable time in listening to Real Sibling. It Ain't Easy. I hope you found this episode informative and enjoyable. There are several ways you can support this podcast with my Grandpa Eric and Aunt Grandma. Please take the time to like, follow, and subscribe. Additionally, leave them a 5-star rating along with a review on your preferred podcast platform. The final thing I would ask is that you recommend this podcast to a friend, a family member, or an associate. Your engagement is critical to their ongoing success, and they look forward to connecting. Check out the show notes Grandpa put together with their contact information, including emails, phone numbers, and websites. And remember, the real siblings look forward to hearing from you.